Some ideas are considered so controversial that books containing them have been banned as soon as they were published. But why? Are these books inherently dangerous, or do they simply shine a light on thoughts society isn't ready to face? Across history, books have been censored, burned, banned, not for their mere existence, but for the dangerous seeds of thought they might sow. Moral guardians claimed these texts threatened the fabric of society. Religious officials branded them heretical. Politicians saw them as a threat to their hold on power. But can you truly erase an idea by silencing it? Or does suppression only make the forbidden more seductive? The act of banning books reveals just as much about society's fears as it does about the content within their pages. To understand banned books, we must explore the fears that led to their censorship. Throughout history, these fears have focused on three closely connected areas: religion and morality. Many books question the ethical and spiritual structures that societies rely on. They question the divine, reinterpret sacred texts, or mock established moral codes. When philosophical or fictional works confront long-held beliefs, they threaten not just ideas, but entire identities grounded in those beliefs. For centuries, such books were suppressed not because they lacked validity, but because they threatened the unquestioned power of religion. Political threats. Any text that challenges the current power structure by encouraging rebellion, criticizing governments, or suggesting new systems threatens those in power. No ruler welcomes a public that starts questioning the legitimacy of authority or the systems that support their power. Social equilibrium. Books that challenge norms about family, gender, sexuality, or class disrupt the systems societies use to keep order. These works often create discomfort as they make readers face uncomfortable truths about themselves and the world around them. These fears expose an uncomfortable reality about censorship. It is often less about protecting people and more about protecting systems of authority. Some of the most illuminating cases of banned literature lie in the works of history's greatest thinkers and provocateurs. Now, let's look at 7 banned books in history and the philosophical questions they leave us asking. 1. Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Friedrich Nietzsche. God is dead, Nietzsche said. Those 3 words caused a huge stir, especially among religious leaders. But what did he actually mean? Nietzsche wasn't saying God literally died. He meant that traditional religious values were losing their influence in modern society. Declared dangerous beyond measure, Nietzsche's work was banned in Nazi Germany because it challenged organized religion and questioned traditional morality. Nietzsche's book wasn't just banned, it was condemned as a threat to the Christian beliefs that supported European morality. But Zarathustra was far more than an attack on religion. It questioned the very framework of morality itself. Nietzsche asked, what happens when we stop obeying inherited rules and start creating our own values? That's where his concept of the Übermensch, or Superman, a person who creates their own values instead of following society's rules. This idea was seen as risky because it shook the foundation of what people believed was right and wrong. Nietzsche also asked a bigger question. If we're brave enough to rethink morality, do good and evil even really exist? Or are they just ideas we hold on to feel safe? Nietzsche pushes us to think about whether our sense of right and wrong comes from within us, or if it's something we've been taught to believe. It's a tough but fascinating challenge. 2. Marriage and Morals. Bertrand Russell. Russell's book was banned in the US for being immoral. He talked about things like free love and gender equality, which were super shocking for the early 1900s. To him, the hypocrisy of forced social norms trapped individual happiness and should not control love or happiness. But Russell believed something simple. People should be free to love and live how they want, as long as they're not hurting anyone else, and personal freedom should come before social norms. Russell didn't just criticize marriage as an institution, he examined how societal norms, instead of personal happiness shaped morality. He asked a big question: should rules about what's right and wrong focus on helping everyone, or should they let individuals have the freedom to be happy? It's a tricky balance, and it's something we're still trying to figure out today. Can rules meant to help everyone sometimes take away people's freedom and happiness? Russell thought about that a lot. 3. The Prince, Niccolò Machiavelli. There's perhaps no figure more synonymous with political realism than Machiavelli. His book, The Prince, scared rulers, not because it questioned their power, but because it explained how power really works. The discomfort it caused wasn't because it supported deceit, it was because of its blunt honesty about human ambition. The book didn't shy away from the truth. Everyone knew, but refused to admit, if you want to stay in charge, you might need to lie, be cruel, or make tough decisions that aren't always fair. Machiavelli believed leaders should do whatever it takes to stay in power, even if people fear them more than love them. Some called him immoral for this, but he argued he was just being honest about how politics actually works. And the book was banned by the Catholic Church in 1559 on the grounds that it causes moral corruption. Yet Machiavelli leaves us with a deep dilemma. Should leaders prioritize morality and trust their people, or is maintaining power the ultimate goal? Are leaders who deceive to protect their states unjust, or are they merely being honest about the nature of power? 4. The Social Contract, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Rousseau famously stated, "Man is born free, but everywhere he is in chains." This challenged the very idea of monarchy. Seen as a threat to royal power, Rousseau's work argued that true authority comes from the collective will of the people, not divine right. Rousseau emphasized that power belongs to the people, not to kings or elites. In the 18th century, these ideas were revolutionary and posed a significant challenge to those in power. His writings were even banned in France and Geneva, as they encouraged people to question and resist unjust governments. Rousseau's ideas sparked debates about freedom and government that still happen today. He asked, does authority come from consent or force? His philosophy makes us wonder if we, as citizens, should support governments that don't reflect the will of the people. How can a government be legitimate if it's not based on what the people want? And does disobedience then become an act of freedom? What do you think? 5. Philosophical Dictionary, Voltaire. Voltaire's Philosophical Dictionary is a powerful book filled with sharp ideas and bold questions. With clever humor and strong arguments, Voltaire challenged things like blind faith, superstition, and rules that didn't make sense. He believed in the power of reason, science, and the freedom to think for yourself. For him, the truth wasn't about following what someone in power said. It was about evidence, logic, and understanding the world on your own. Even though the book was banned and burned by the Catholic Church because it encouraged people to question and think critically, Voltaire's ideas sparked a change in how people viewed the world. He didn't want to destroy beliefs or traditions. He wanted to shine a light on them, helping people see clearly and make their own decisions. Voltaire's message is simple but important. Don't blindly trust what you're told, whether it's from religion, leaders, or anyone else. Instead, ask questions, be curious, and use reason to discover what's true. He asks us to think about one big idea. Should we just accept what others tell us, or should we think for ourselves? 6. Brave New World, Aldous Huxley. In Brave New World, Aldous Huxley envisioned a dystopian society where happiness is engineered through manipulation and distraction, achieved by suppressing individuality and freedom. In this world, people are conditioned from birth to accept their predetermined roles, numbed by a steady supply of soma, a drug that dulls any discomfort or discontent. This artificial happiness is maintained by a consumer-driven culture that encourages constant consumption and shallow pleasures, pushing people further away from self-awareness and genuine connection. When it was first published, The novel was banned for its critique of traditional values, such as family and personal responsibility, and for its portrayal of drug use as a means of social control. However, Huxley's deeper message is a profound critique of the costs of societal stability when it comes at the expense of freedom, autonomy, and authentic human experience. The novel challenges us to reflect on the dangers of a society that sacrifices individuality, critical thought, and emotional depth in favor of comfort and conformity. Huxley's frightening prediction urges us to question what real progress is, whether it's worth sacrificing personal freedom and the richness of life. 7. Justine, Marquis de Sade. If there's one author whose name evokes moral outrage, it's the Marquis de Sade. His book Justine was banned for promoting immorality, sadism, and religious blasphemy. His graphic exploration of pleasure, pain, and depravity attacked traditional ideas of virtue and self-control. It's no surprise that the Church condemned his works as the writings of the devil. He delved into the darkest corners of human nature, asking, "Are we born good or evil?" De Sade's nihilism challenges us to confront impulses society would rather ignore. His philosophy was deeply controversial because it suggested that evil might be a natural part of being human. His work forces us to ask, if darkness is part of human nature, should we hide it or understand it? So, are these books truly dangerous, or does banning them reveal more about the censors than the content? Censorship isn't just suppression, it's fear. Fear of questions too big to answer, fear of ideas too powerful to ignore. Reading itself is an act of rebellion, a refusal to accept the world as it is presented. A banned book is more than a forbidden text. It's an invitation to think freely, question deeply, and seek truth beyond what we are told. Do you think a book can ever truly deserve to be banned? Or should every idea, no matter how uncomfortable, be open to discussion? After all, the most dangerous idea is the one we're too afraid to talk about.